Welcome to the More Than Just Dumbbells podcast. My name's Jason Lindsay.
My name's Kitty Truex.
How fast can you say your name?
My name's Kitty Truex.
Yeah, that's good. Kitty, have you ever been in, like, whether it's at a company? I know you haven't had a lot of corporate jobs, but you've had, you've worked for companies and such.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be at a company to witness this or to be. But have you ever sat and listened to a motivational speaker?
I have.
Anybody like famous, or was it just?
Mine was more. I used to be in an MLM. Right? I'm not going to name the name.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I am. You learn a lot. Let me just say that. I now know why I no
you
longer
learn
want
never
to
to do it again. Yeah.
Exactly, in an MLM. But anyway,
Why can't you say the name?
I just don't want to.
Right.
I'm not that kind of a girl. So anyway, and they're still successful. They're still doing their thing.
I bet it was
wasn't. No, it wasn't. I just gave you that stupid wax thing.
That's what I thought.
No, it wasn't sensitive. But anyway, so they used to have, their conventions or their January kickoffs and their this, that, and the other thing. And I used to see a lot of cool motivational speakers that put the fire under your butt and made you feel like, I can take over the world.
The common theme typically is they have a story, right? They have something.
Yes.
Something happened to them. They overcame an obstacle.
Yes.
Like I remember one at a convention for a company I worked for. He was a skier, and then he got injured. Something like that. I don't know.
Right. Actually, what's crazy is after hearing one of those, it made such an impact that I got a tattoo with an idea that I got from the talk that they gave.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to share?
Sure. It's the Be a Giraffe. The giraffe right here.
What does that mean?
Well, there's a parable or a moral story where there's a giraffe and there's a turtle. The giraffe is talking to the turtle. Like, giraffe is like, hey, look at the beautiful sun. Look at the tops of the trees. And the turtle's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And what they're pretty much saying is when you have developed yourself and you've kind of gotten up to this higher frequency or this higher vibration, don't bring yourself down to that of a turtle because you're never going to see the world from the same perspective. So don't bring yourself down. Have them bring themselves up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So be a giraffe.
Yeah, I like it.
That was a really a big thing for me for a long time.
Yeah, I dig it. So there's a little bit of a segue here. I mean, I wanted to. We thought we'd do an episode of the More Than Just Dumbbells podcast.
Sponsored by Power Block.
Powered by Power Block. World's best dumbbell.
Adjustable kettlebells.
It is built different. And it's different in this case means way better.
Better. Mo better.
We thought that we would do an episode where you would go over and I would go over, and we're gonna start with you if you don't mind.
Sure, no problem.
Your do we call it like the top 5 books that you've read that influenced your life, or what's the
I would say
subtitle
your
here?
top 5 most influential books
there we go.
up to this point in your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, because people read less and less, and audiobooks count.
I Audible my butt off.
Yeah,
I love Audible.
I'm all for it. I think I'm okay with it because it's better than nothing. But I would, if I had a choice, I would say read it. But I can't tell people what to do. So why don't you start? What do you got?
My number one.
You can go 1 through 5 or 5 through 1, or you can mix it up. Is there? I'm
going to go my 5 and then go up to my number 1. So
okay.
my 5 is the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yeah.
The 4 Agreements.
Yeah. Be impeccable with your word.
Yeah. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally.
No.
Don't assume things, and always do your best.
Yeah.
And because it's a simple way of looking at, okay, well, how many times do you take things personally? How many times do you say things that you don't really mean, or you say things just to get someone's goat? Like, really paying attention to what it is that you're taking in and putting out. And it really kind of opened me up to taking radical responsibility for my actions, what I ingest, and what I think and feel. It was a really, really cool book.
It is on a lot of people's lists. I've talked to her like, hey, tell me a book or two.
Sure.
So I'm glad that
and
it's
a
on
quick
yours
read as well. Kind of like a little parable or something. One that
should satisfy a lot of
can
Americans.
be reread each year as a reminder. Yes.
Cool. Dig it.
Yeah. Do you want to go me, you, 5, or do you want me to go through all of my 5? Okay, I'll go through all mine. My number 4 is The Alchemist.
Yeah.
Which is actually a book that you bought me for Christmas. Yeah. I have 2 or 3 copies already. Yeah. So thank you for thinking of me.
Yeah.
But I love The Alchemist because it makes you think of your personal legend, in quotes. Yeah. It's all about what's your destiny, what's your journey, what's your path that you're supposed to take. And that we have choices and able to follow that or not. And if you don't, that's fine. But usually your personal journey is why you're here, right? Am I right?
I got you the book.
Yeah, why did you get me that book?
Because it was Christmas, and I thought that I'd get you a book that I figured you would like,
I do like.
And as I'm in there shopping, I'm like pretty sure she's read this, but I also know through the podcast that you're not, like I said, you don't read like a book a week or 2 books a week or 3 books a week. I don't think
I'd say about a book a month.
Okay. Well, more than most people. So I thought there was a chance maybe that it slipped through, but I was wrong. So guess what? I still have it.
Nice. We should book club, Jason.
No, I'm going to read it when I'm in Belize.
Oh, dig it.
I've never read it. I've never read the book.
Oh, let me know how
I've been
you like
recommended to read it by several people in several lists.
It's fantastic.
And I'm going to make an effort to read it in Belize. I should have no problem getting through it in a day or two.
No, I agree. It's a great book, The Alchemist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Taking energy and bending it to create something different.
Saw Bellow? No, who is it? Who's the author? I don't know. I want to say Bellow. Is it Bellow?
I don't know off the top of my head.
All right.
I can find out.
No worries.
My third is the Harry Potter series.
Harry Potter?
Harry Potter. That's the name of my putter. Harry Potter.
Never read a single Harry Potter book, never will, but I'm glad people do. I'm glad people find joy in them, and she made billions of dollars and gave a lot of it away, which is awesome.
And the reason is because it literally opened the world to magic for me, and it sparked something that has just grown since then. And I've fallen in love with Harry Potter, absolutely.
And you read it, how old were you?
I read it after it. I would think I was in like 7th or 8th grade when I started reading it, and it took me all through high school.
It has been out that long, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I was late to the party.
And you're not that.
I was late to the party.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Gosh, because you're not that old, so it was okay. So because I was gonna say, I'm glad that those books were written for many reasons, but one of them is so because kids can read it and still have that imagination,
magic and wonder.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is when I was reading them when I was young, my mom wasn't into it at all. She's like, I cannot get into these. Yeah. Then she had my brother, who's 21 years younger than I am. Yeah. He started getting into Harry Potter. Then she started reading it. So now we're a Harry freaking Pothead family. We're going to the Potter world and the Potterverse together, whatever. And it's pretty cool that she got into it as well.
Regular pottery barn at your house.
Exactly. Boom. Exactly. Waka waka. So Harry Potter definitely had a huge impact on my trajectory. 1,000%.
Yeah,
much
good.
More magical.
Love it. Those are so far. You're off and you're kicking my butt.
Well, thanks, brother. I've got my last 2 left. This. See now, number 1 and number 2, I feel like are neck and neck
1A and
for
1B.
me. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go first with How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Yep. Yeah. And it's all about stop criticizing, stop condemning people, and stop complaining. Yeah. And I would say the number 1 quote that I took from that I still to this day use is, "Be interested, not interesting."
Yeah.
People love talking about themselves, and we're all just trying to talk about ourselves all over the place. So actually take the time to be interested in someone else, because that makes more of a connection than you telling them how freaking cool you are or not. And it really made a huge difference in my business. When I first started High Five Fit, highfivefit.com, when I first started High Five Fit, this was a really big book that I put time and energy into because it gave me a lot back.
And it goes back many years. That book's the reason I got laid so much when I was younger.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Because you win friends and influence people?
Because and any guy listening that is whatever. But it's so be interested, not interesting. I would just ask questions and pretend I was interested, and I wouldn't talk about myself, and then they don't know anything about you. You're a mystery, and it works like a slam dunk. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not how I thought about it, but there you go.
I'm not as well adjusted as you. So far you're really kicking my butt, and you've got 4 so far out of your 5.
Yeah.
And this is not a criticism.
Yeah.
But I think as compared to mine possibly, that are very popular. Like they're on lists, which is good.
Yeah.
Which means they're legit.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks. I like being legit. Too legit to quit.
Yeah. Well.
My last one isn't usually on a list.
Ooh.
Because it was
you do have one that's not popular.
I do have one that's probably not popular, but I feel it needs to be way more popular because it's my
Forum?
number 1. No. Right. Oh, there's another waka. So this book was written in 1938, but it wasn't released until 2011. Because his family begged him not to release it because it was too controversial, and they were afraid of the backlash of what it would be. Anything?
No idea.
Have you heard of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
Yeah.
So Napoleon Hill, that same author, wrote a book called Outwitting the Devil. And what it is it's a legit conversation between Mr. Hill and the devil, or our evil, dark shadow side of ourselves. And he talks about religion, he talks about teachers, he talks about authority, he talks about TV, he talks about all of these things. And the reason I love this book is because it made me think about the world in a completely different way.
Okay, give me a little more.
For example, the one thing, like the devil, He's like, I don't need to teach you about me. Everyone else teaches you about me. And then once you believe in me, I control you. The devil, for example, like your priests are talking about addiction and temptation and all of this stuff. They're talking about the devil and talking about hell. Your parents are teaching you, don't do this or else you're going to go to hell. Like the devil doesn't need to do any marketing for himself because everyone else is trying to rule you with fear. Does that make sense?
You're speaking to a non-believer. So yeah, I mean, I did.
And it's not the devil per se. Yeah. It's not like God and the devil. Yeah. The devil is just the underbelly of the world.
Yeah, okay.
The controlling, the loops.
I'm intrigued enough to read the book. So
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And what he calls it is drifting. Yeah. So when you're on your path, the devil gets you to drift with Netflix, distractions, with sex, drugs, rock and roll, and that's what's called drifting. And then you get in these drift loops, and that's your patterns and your limiting beliefs. And all. I mean, that book probably made the biggest impact on me of all the books I've ever read. And I'm a big reader.
So,
Outwitting the Devil.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want this.
Did I sell you on it yet?
No, but you've got 4 really popular books and one that's written by a very popular author who's got one of the most popular books, at least business type book. Well, business, personal growth. Go through that list.
Personal
again.
development. My list was The 4 Agreements.
Yeah.
The Alchemist.
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
And Outwitting the Devil.
Mm.
Those are my books.
They're very with the exception of Harry Potter, and even that the
very
story,
developmental.
They're very personal
Absolutely.
growth.
Yes.
Type. Yeah. You'll be surprised to find out I don't have a lot of personal growth.
No. Well, I'll make up for both of us, brother. How about you? Spill them to me.
Well, I didn't rank mine, so but I'm gonna go. What I wanted to do, and I might have broke the rules a little bit, but I searched. I wanted to make sure I had one kind of business book, one fitness type book, and then 3 that weren't either of those. I kind of did that. What do you want me to start with?
How about you go from bottom to top?
Well, I didn't rank them, but
yeah,
so they're not ranked.
Okay, well, just throw them at me then.
Do you want to?
What's the fitness one?
It's a book called Once a Runner by John L. Parker. Now, it's when I say fitness, it'd be loosely it's
Dan
Dan's
fitness?
trivia game. So you have
fitness with bun.
You have I'm sure it's semi-autobiographical. I forget those details, but he wrote it in 1978. It's about a college athlete who wants to beat a certain runner. He's a runner. He's short distance, middle distance, a 4-minute mile. I mean, fast runner guys.
Super fast.
These guys that run all these miles per day.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his goal, one of his goals, and to beat another runner, which you have to read the book to find out if he does. But it's just what I took from the book. Believe it or not, there was some parallels to other things, golf, and business, and other things.
Sure.
Which was you'll get a real strong sense in this book of, I'm going to say it, what the fuck it takes to win, to be successful. Win. Yes.
Sure.
How much effort and determination you have to put in, and there you go. So that was it'd be hard not to be inspired reading that. I'm not saying you're going to want to go and run a 4-minute mile, but
you're going to want to do something with your ad.
So that Once a Runner.
Okay.
And if you are a runner, and you don't have to be a marathon runner, because it's definitely not a marathon. He's short. He's a college short distance runner, but there's still a lot of running in there, like training and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah,
wow.
And there's a gal he wants to get with, so there's that kind of stuff too.
All right. Once a Runner.
Yeah. And then I'll do the business book, The Millionaire Messenger by Brendan Bouchard.
I've heard of him.
This one is there's a caveat here. This is not like necessarily. Well, I think you could benefit from this book if you owned a brick and mortar business, Power Block or GNC. But it's really for the people that are out there trying to make it on the internet as a consultant, an expert in a field.
Sure.
Like I was the fitness business expert. If you owned a gym, I wanted to be the expert that you looked at. And just how much he gives you the playbook.
Nice.
It's right. Really, he does. He gives you so much good stuff. And one of the things, the biggest thing he taught me in this book was and he did it himself. If you're going to be out there, like say you have a blog, you have a podcast, you have a video podcast, you have you're giving out this free content.
Yep.
Actually give them your best free content. I would tell gym owners what to do step by step in my blogs, in my videos. I wasn't vague at all.
Yeah.
And he said you got to do that. You got to give them your best stuff because in the thing he didn't necessarily say, but what I learned is they love it and they're like this guy knows what he's doing. They're not following this stuff. They need a coach. Then they hire you to actually walk them through it. So anybody out there that's like, hey, I want to be the expert in fitness, I want to be the expert in this and that, whatever field it is, you got to read The Millionaire Messenger by Brendan Burchard.
I love that. I'll write that one down.
Yeah,
thanks, Jay.
I have it. I can give it to you. Well, I didn't get burned. Never mind.
Oh. Okay.
Now, it didn't burn like Catcher in the Rye, which is my next book.
Oh.
That was a good segue, huh?
That won't set up.
So one of the most banned books of all time that my 14-year-old nephew does not have yet. I'm waiting until he's like 15 or 16.
Ooh.
I did not read it until I was in college. Probably Blooming Prairie High School didn't have it. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. My small town, you couldn't find it, but I just wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
Till I was in college, and I had this funny thing about me is I read more books in college from the library, fiction, nonfiction, than I did textbooks.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had free access to a huge ass library. And so I started going through these books. Most I can't remember, but this one, because it's such a classic, by J.D. Salinger, who's no longer with us, died 10 years ago. Have you read Catcher in the Rye?
I don't think so.
So what I got from that book, Dan, you read it?
I have not. No.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
No.
So, yeah, I think you can.
Can you tell us the basis of it?
Yeah, I will. I've read it. I've read it several times at many different ages. Holden Caulfield's 15 years old. He's about to be kicked out of a private school. His parents are wealthy. He's got a brother and a sister. They live in a nice place in New York. They keep sending him to schools he gets kicked out of. He thinks everybody's a phony. He hates everybody. He hates a lot of people. He's kind of just does this journey to get back home without them knowing. And there's a prostitute involved, and there's a lot of swearing. I mean, there's the F-bombs in there, but there's a lot of other stuff. I mean, he's goddamn it every other.
Wow.
Yeah, and which is why it was banned, because it was in the 40s.
Okay,
50s,
so not
50s.
for the content.
Well,
it's the words and the language.
It wasn't that he dropped out of school or got kicked out.
Right,
They keep bringing the prostitute and the swearing and all this stuff.
It wasn't for the story. It was for the way it was told.
But he's the book is. I don't want to give it away, but the reason that I love it so much is the way it's written, because it's not written in traditional. Salinger, and he told his editor, don't change a comma, don't change this, don't change that. It's basically a kid who doesn't want to grow up.
Oh.
And when I read it in my 20s, I was like, that's me. I was 22 and going, this is all bullshit. I don't want to be part of this fucking thing,
Everyone's
whatever.
a phony.
Yeah. right. So I'm not saying it's if you read it with the right kind of, understanding, but
I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, man.
There's a book called Never Let Me Go by Kazu. God, Asian guy. I'm going to screw it up here. Have you heard of this book? Anybody? Never Let Me Go?
No.
So I don't like a lot of dystopian stuff, but I like this one. Basically, it's in the future, and the story in the book is we genetically, what's the word I'm looking for here? We make people.
Oh, wow.
So, if you clone. So we're
cloning humans.
We basically clone people and birth people, have people become, raised to use their organs for us as we get older and we need organs for whatever reason.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's the story of a gal who's in this deal, and they know it from
from the early age.
They know it from
I'm born to harvest.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And here's the thing. It's really, really interesting. I don't think it'll ever happen. That's not why I like the book. Here's the reason I like it. As somebody who writes on occasion, it's a 60-year-old Asian guy. Now, he also wrote Remains of the Day. He's written some other really popular books. Mm-hmm. But a 60-year-old Asian guy is writing from the perspective of a 20-year-old white female. I just think that's fascinating.
Wow.
Like how he could do this.
How can he put himself in those shoes?
And you don't have to know that to enjoy the book. Like, I don't even know if I knew it until after. Well, I probably knew it during. But just
it's still a big
deal. A wonderful writer, and just, I don't know. Anyway, so Never Let Me Go. They made it a movie with, have you seen Promising Young Woman?
No. Should I?
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
You'd
All
like
right.
Promising Young Woman.
All right.
The actor in there, what's her name? Carey Mulligan. She's in this movie when they made the movie like 10 years ago. And then the last one, Case Closed, Gerald Posner. Case Closed, Gerald Posner is about the Kennedy assassination.
Oh.
And the reason that book is on my list and always will be, he's still with us, Jared Posner, and he's a wonderful person, wonderful writer. He's not without his critics, but so is everybody. So he, you remember in 1991 that movie called JFK that Oliver Stone put out there, 3 hour long, that basically got everybody in the country convinced that Lee Harvey Oswald did not kill Kennedy. There's a conspiracy, grassy knoll, picket fence. Are you familiar with this?
No.
You don't follow the Kennedy assassination?
No.
Dan, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Well, so Gerald Posner did as much investigation, more than anybody, into trying to figure out what happened that day.
Yeah.
And it's called Case Closed because it's 100% case closed. Lee Harvey
what
Oswald acted
happened.
alone, and So, because here's why. I was such a like, oh my God, and I was 20 years old at the time, or 18 or 19 years old when JFK came out. So I'm in that perfect age, the woke kids now, right? Where they just, oh man, the conspiracy and this happened. I can't believe the government and blah blah blah. And you're just like, I'm just so bought and sold that this is. Man, they're lying. The Warren Commission and blah blah blah. And then you come to find out, you know what? Occam's razor plays a big role, which is what's the most likely thing, and there you go. So Posner taught me that, hey, don't listen to all the
don't listen to the hype.
Go with the facts. So
yeah.
There you go.
Go with the facts.
Yeah, I like your list
Just
better than
facts,
mine.
man.
More people should probably get your books than mine. 100%. They'll be better people. But if you, I'd say the one on my list for I think most people would be, oh God. Yeah, I don't know. The Millionaire, no, I don't know.
No?
Once a Runner. I think most people would like Once a Runner.
Because it keeps you motivated?
If they only had to pick one from your book, Harry Potter's not it.
Harry Potter's not it.
But the other four are tough, man. That's a lot of good ones.
They're all great for a different reason.
What if you just had one and you said,
man.
read it the next month?
Thinking
about New Year, thinking about,
I'd say Outwitting the Devil.
Okay.
Honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, because it really opened up a whole lot that I didn't even know I was ready to think about.
While I'm sitting on the beach in Belize getting hammered off Bellican beer.
You're going to rear out.
Should I read The Alchemist or should I read Outwitting the Devil?
The Alchemist, yes. Yeah, because it's a story for a beach. Like, Outwitting the Devil is when you're ready to do some serious development and exploration.
Well, what does alchemy involve? Isn't that a term?
Alchemy, yeah.
What is that?
It's making something into something else. Virtually.
So turning beer into
turning lead into gold, or turning energy
into beer into
manifestation.
Fun. Yeah,
turning beer into fun. Oh gosh.
Are
you listening to this?
To cigars into mouth cancer.
Gosh, dang it.
Love it. Well, I hope people like that one. I hope they, and Dan, can you add graphics?
Thanks for asking me about books, by the way.
Are you gonna be able to add graphics on YouTube?
I can pop up.
That would be
book titles
sweet.
And covers and stuff.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Love it.
Thanks for being a kick-ass
I'm on
editor. On it. Thanks for having me, Jason.
Yeah,
Thanks for asking me about my favorite books. I would talk about this all day long.
Now I got to read your books. My story, no my story this time. But
if you do have one,
yeah, what do you do?
Send us a testimony or a story to mystory@powerblock.com. Let us know how Power Blocks have increased your happiness or made an impact in your life.
I'm about to lose 20 pounds and my Power Block's up in my place.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Put on some muscle, brother. That's what Power Blocks
I
are good
lose
for.
fat.
That's what Power Blocks are good for.
Enough muscle.
Get your strength on.
Peace out.
Thank you so much.